Eleanor Voss drowned on Christmas Eve, 1932. Along the frozen shore of Lake Mersey, they found her mittens first. Bright red wool abandoned on the shore of Lake Mersey. Footprints, still crisp in the fresh snow, trailed across the ice and vanished where the surface had cracked. Her father, Jakob Voss, swore he heard her singing through the blizzard, that same lullaby she'd play on her little music box every night. Jakob ran toward her voice until the ice gave way. His body was never recovered. The music box disappeared with them, until it washed ashore 65 years later, its gears rusted but still ticking like a clock counting down to something dark. Mercy Falls, Alaska, was a graveyard of lost things. Ships, planes, people. The icy waters swallowed them all. So when an old, salt-crusted music box surfaced on the rocky shore one summer of 1997, folks around just shrugged it off. I was in town investigating local hauntings for a magazine feature, ghost stories, urban legends, that kind of thing. In a place like Mercy Falls, I figured there'd be no shortage of material. I first saw it in the tavern. The bartender's daughter, Liza, proudly displayed the new curiosity she'd found on the beach. It was a grotesque little thing. Tarnished brass with mother-of-pearl inlay, so chipped and cracked you could barely make out the floral design. The nameplate, corroded by salt and time, read, Eleanor Voss, 1932. Wind it up, Marcus, Liza insisted, her cheeks flushed from sneaking sips of beer. I should have known better. Part of me wanted to walk away right then. Every instinct in my body was screaming that this was more than a harmless trinket. But my hand moved on its own, and I gave the key a gentle twist. The tune that trickled out was soft, sweet, and painfully off-key, like a memory gone sour. Then came the giggle, high-pitched, bubbling with water, as if someone was drowning mid-laugh. Liza's eyes widened, and within moments, her nose began to bleed. She's under the ice, she whispered, her voice barely audible before collapsing. 2 nights later, the search party found Liza's body pressed between 2 slabs of ice near a glacier outside town. The coroner blamed hypothermia, an all-too-common end in these parts, but I saw the frost-bitten marks around her wrists, tiny imprints like someone dragged her deeper into the cold. That detail lodged in my mind like a splinter. So did the memory of her nosebleed and that dreadful lullaby. I retrieved the music box from the police evidence locker. I'd seen weirder things on my investigations. At least that's what I told myself. Back at my cabin, I couldn't stop staring at it. Rusted gears, tarnished brass, cracked inlay. It looked so fragile, like a relic that should have crumbled decades ago. Yet when I wound it again, the melody crawled out. Slower this time, and layered with a sorrowful sob that twisted my gut. Frost rimmed the edges of my window as though the Alaskan chill had grown claws. I snapped the lid shut, heart hammering, but something in the room still felt colder. I tried to tell myself it was just the night air seeping in through old cracks. But deep down I knew better. Nothing prepared me for the wave of strange deaths that washed over Mercy Falls in the weeks following Liza's demise. Old man Riley, who'd been living here since the 50s, was found face down in his own bathtub. The water had frozen solid, trapping his body like a prehistoric insect in amber. A fisherman named Chuck hauled in his net one morning to discover a severed hand still gripping a fish hook, no sign of the rest of the body. Lucy, the postmistress, simply vanished from her bedroom. They found only her nightgown, stiff with ice, spread across her mattress. Every victim shared one disturbing detail. They had all heard the music box's eerie melody. Whispers spread around town. Something in that lullaby was calling people to their deaths, luring them beneath the ice, just like Eleanor Voss all those years ago. Desperate for answers, I dug into the town archives. Old newspapers, ledgers from the general store, letters from families who'd left Mercy Falls in a hurry. None of them mentioned someone missing named Eleanor. It was as though her story had been wiped clean. Eventually, I stumbled across a battered leather journal tucked behind a row of water-damaged books. The name scrawled on the inside cover made my heart jolt. Jacob Voss. His entries started off neatly, describing Eleanor's persistent cough and the lengths he'd gone to for medicine. But as the days crept closer to Christmas Eve, the handwriting turned frantic. December 23rd, 1932. Eleanor's cough is worse. Doctor says consumption. I can't lose her. I won't lose her. December 24th. The music box plays on its own now. She says it's her friend from the lake, whispering to her when I'm not around. December 25th. I took her to the ice. The friend promised to make her well, but she sank. She sank, and now the music won't stop. The final page held a sketch so detailed it looked like an image seared into his mind. Eleanor's face beneath the ice, eyes glazed, hands splayed against the frozen surface as though begging to be let out. I couldn't tear my gaze away. I convinced myself that destroying the box would break whatever curse was eating Mercy Falls from the inside out. I doused the music box in gasoline behind my cabin, the smell of fuel mixing with the salty tang of the nearby water. My hands shook as I struck the match. The flames devoured the tarnished brass, curling over the mother of pearl like hungry snakes. For a heartbeat, the lullaby warbled out, distorted by the heat. Then it erupted into a scream. Scream, garbled and desperate. The fire flared bright blue, licking at the sky. In that electric glow, it thought I saw a figure. Eleanor, her hair drifting as if she were submerged, her skin gray and bloated. She reached out, eyes brimming with anguish. I told her, "I'll free you," I choked out, tears burning my cheeks in the cold. Then the fire sputtered, and the music box collapsed into molten slag. The vision winked out, leaving me alone with the reek of scorched metal and something far fouler. Despite the horror of what I'd just witnessed, I felt an odd relief. Surely, it was over now. Shaken to my core with this chilling encounter, I raced back to my hometown, every mile cementing my resolve to abandon my career as a paranormal investigator. No mystery was worth sacrificing my life, but the relief I'd felt vanished the moment I stepped through the front door. My daughter, Sophie, was in her room, humming a tune I knew all too well. There, on her bed, gleaming as though it had never touched a drop of flame, sat the music box. Its brass surface looked eerily polished, its inlay whole and unbroken. "Eleanor's my friend now, Daddy," Sophie said, her voice bright with childish delight. But her smile was too wide, her eyes too dark. I lunged for the box, only to have my feet slip on a sudden sheet of ice forming across the hardwood floor. My wife, Marianne, appeared in the doorway. Her expression was serene, but her eyes were wrong. Milky, haunted, reflecting a face that wasn't hers. They found my body in the study few days later, a silent witness frozen in time, the music box clutched tightly to my chest. Sophie and Marianne had vanished without a trace. But if you listen on winter nights of Mercy Falls, you'll hear it. The lullaby echoing under the ice, and sometimes a giggle. Comment your nightmares below. And remember, the shadows are watching.